evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a really good day. I did, and let's get right into it. I get a lot of emails, so I've decided to answer them. And I got an email from a gentleman named Frank, and he asked me if it was a sin and he was going to go to hell because he got a tattoo. And so he said to me in the email, in Leviticus chapter 19:28, it does say, and I'm going to read it, because if you look in the other Bibles, like NIV, or it says a completely different thing than it does in King James Version, and that's why it's very important to read King James Version and read everything in the right context. Leviticus 19:28 says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord." Now, again, we have to take everything into context, okay? So, now, the Jews tattooed themselves, and God tattooed himself. He said he's graven us in the palm of his hands. Now, you know, as a Christian, that anything that's in appearance of evil, or, you abstain from appearance of evil. That's a given. But let me really let you understand what Leviticus 19:28 means, and let me explain about the Jews. So when a young Jewish man, a soldier, went to war, his mother would tattoo in her hands something to remind her of her son. What the Leviticus 19:28 is talking about, it's talking about the pagans when it says make cuttings on your body. It's talking about the priests that worshipped Baal, that used to jump up and down on the altar, in the 18th chapter of 1 Kings, screaming and yelling and cutting themselves, bleeding all over the altar, and they thought if they cut themselves that they would make their gods and idols happy, and they worshipped trees and suns and that sort of thing. So I came up with 4 things that should Christians get tattoos, permitted or prohibited. Number 1, think before you ink. Are you getting the tattoo to compete with your friends or to create attention? Or is it an emotional tattoo? Or is it a rebellion against your parents? Or is it to enhance your beauty? So you have to really be honest with yourself and answer those questions. Number 2, think before you ink. What message will I be communicating with this tattoo? If you get skull and bones on you, naked male or a naked female, what are you sending? What kind of message, when people view your tattoo, what kind of message are you sending out? Number 3, think before you ink. Is it enticing somebody to lust after you? Is the image sexual, lustful, and mostly the location, especially for women, if they get a tattoo anywhere around, their cleavage or their lower back, that will entice a man or a woman to lust after you or get the wrong idea about you. That's definitely not a good idea, and I would rethink that. And number 4, think before you ink. Will I want this tattoo in the future? So you always have to think, because when we're young, we think we're indispensable, we could do anything, and we're always going to look the same. And that's not true. As you age, your body changes, and every decade, your mind changes, your thoughts change. You may have been in a relationship and got your boyfriend or girlfriend's name tattooed on you, and then you broke up and now you're married and it bothers your spouse. So you have to think of those things as well. But always remember something. God is mostly concerned with what's on the inside of your heart and not the outside. He cares about the fleshly tablets of your heart, where the Word of God is written and where it should be. So that keeps you on the straight and narrow. But are Christians going to go to hell because they have tattoos? Well, I would say that you have to have a pretty good balance, because there's two kinds of Christians. There's the extremists, and then there's the ones that are more like, I call them hippie Christians, because they're like, oh, once you believe, you could backslide and Jesus forgives, and as long as I'm a good person and I do that, I do that. Well, you can't be too extreme, and you can't be too, what's a good word, lackadaisy, or, you have to have respect for the Lord and respect for your body and have a good balance. But no, I don't think that you would be going to sin because of a tattoo. Again, taking into consideration what the tattoo is. I mean, Nicki Minaj just got a tattoo of the whole Baphomet on her butt, and I'm pretty sure that explains where she's going and who she worships. But in any event, that's what I wanted to come on here and say today, because I got the email and I decided that I can mention the first name of the person. I would never give out their last name, but it really is a popular question, and I thought it could help a lot of people. I myself do not have any tattoos. Did I ever want to get one? It crossed my mind. Number one, I'm afraid of needles. Number two, my parents drilled it in my head that they would practically kick my butt if I got a tattoo. And the most that I got was a nose ring, and I don't know, midlife crisis, something like that, but I got it taken out because of my grandchildren. But in any event, the point is that find a good balance. Make sure where you put it. Make sure what it represents. And, that makes a huge difference. But, like I said, God is concerned with what's in your heart. And what's tattooed on your fleshly tablets in your heart should be the Word of God, and that should shine through you. And again, there's a lot of people that get saved after the fact that have tattoos, and of course, any good pastor, preacher, or church aren't going to throw somebody, or shouldn't throw somebody, out of the congregation because they have tattoos. And nobody should stand there and judge the person because, maybe they're now coming into faith and that was before. I mean, it's like if you smoked and you have emphysema, well, now you don't smoke anymore, and, because you've been saved, and the church doesn't want to accept you because you have emphysema because you used to smoke. No. So, in any event, those were the 4 things that I think were important. Let me know what you think below. Add your comment and email me after you subscribe, after you hit like, and I have a lot more coming, and this is an exciting channel because I like to delve in different areas, and it's always, the bottom line with me is always about Jesus Christ and serving Him, but we do have questions, and they're valid, so I like to answer them and hear what you have to say. I love you very much. God willing, this little Italian girl will be back. Mwah! Ciao.